continue this morning's availabilities with William Byron, driver of the number 24 Chevrolet for Hendrick Motorsports. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. If you have one, please raise your hand and we'll get to you. We'll start in the back with Jacob and then go to Matt.
Jacob Seelman, Race Face Digital. William, it seems pretty rare anymore that you get an opportunity to jump back in an Xfinity car, but you had a lot of success in them over the years. Do you enjoy a weekend like this where you have a chance to run both races and, I guess for lack of a better way to put it, just go play and seek a trophy in the Xfinity race?
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of strategically plan these races out to places that I wanted to come to, and just thankful that HendrickCars.com and Hendrick Motorsports was able to, put that together and have me be able to choose which races I want to go do. So that's great. I would love to race more. It's just a matter of, finding the right funding and the right teams to do it with. But yeah, I'm excited. I think the extra laps will help me. The cars are very different, but I think that the racetrack and learning some nuances there will help for Sunday, and just give me something fun to go do and try to go compete for a win, like you said. Try not to put too much pressure on ourselves, no practice, and just trying to figure out what we have in the beginning of the race. But once we kind of get a feel for that, I think we'll be able to march our way forward and see how we do.
We'll go to Matt, then Cameron, then Lee.
Matt Weaver, Sportsnot. This weekend, new right side tire for Darlington, but it's a familiar tire, the intermediate tire. What are your thoughts on that? How could it possibly change the racing?
Yeah, I mean, just my immediate thoughts are, for us as a team, just working through the balance of what that tire needs, and we've, I feel like, had good speed this year, but just trying to work on what that tire needs, because it is different than what we ran here and different than what we ran at some of the mile and a halves last year. So I think the racing you'll see pretty similar stuff. I think this tire's been really good though. I mean, there's really I would say this tire has a bit more feel to it. Like you can slide the car, you can, manipulate the car a little bit more. So I like that. But it's not a huge difference. I think, it's the fall off similar and all those things.
And then for next weekend, do you have a read on the option tire, things that it could provide the racing? What would make it look successful?
Yeah, I have to look back through my notes from the test. I think that we definitely ran that tire. It had a lot of speed on the short run, fire off, and then we were just kind of getting to the point where it was starting to wear and fall off in 25 laps. Now we did 50 lap runs with the control tire. So I think it's going to be really quick on the short run, so hopefully that creates some comers and goers where, if you've got a couple tenths on the guy in front of you, you can pass them. So I'm all for it. I think it's a good idea. They did it a few years ago, but this hopefully is a more drastic difference between the two tires. And, yeah, we did that test and ran through a lot of different sets and tried to go as soft as what they felt comfortable with. And hopefully that's a good thing. And the racetrack is – the groove in 1 and 2 was fairly wide. The groove in 3 and 4 was pretty narrow. So hopefully we can kind of widen that out through, lap cars and having to run, inadvertently in the second lane when you're trying to pass.
We'll go to Cameron and then to Lee.
Cameron Richardson, NASCAR.com. You've been on the good and bad end of late race moments here, the last 2 spring races here. So how do you assess those situations where it's tense, whether it's an overtime restart or just a late restart, or you're in a tight battle for the lead with someone?
I don't really think about it too much. I mean, I don't lose sleep over how the races end here. Really, if there's any racetrack you're not thinking about short runs, it's here. You're thinking about, how do I be good for 50 laps? And that's just what it takes all day long to be fast here. And then you might get that caution at the end and have to re-rack them and have a good restart. So I pay attention, for sure. I pay attention to launches on restarts. I pay attention to, lane selection, but I'm not losing sleep over, what's going to happen on a green-white checkered here. It's just, or late in the race, it's just, how do I manage my tires and my equipment to make the best 40-lap, 50-lap run I can do.
Lee Spencer, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio and CatchFence.com. This will mark the halfway point of the regular season. You were the first guy to get to 3 wins. The last couple of weeks have been off, but how would you assess your season so far?
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Andrews and I were on the way up here, and he was talking about the first 12, middle 12, and last 12, and I'm kind of always looking for new ways to think of it, and I think that's a great way to view it. So I feel like, yeah, our first 12 has been up and down, right? But when our ups are very up, and we have a lot of pace each weekend. Last weekend fastest in practice, good averages, and then the issue in qualifying, and then we just missed the balance in the race. Going into a night race, we didn't expect what happened and couldn't adjust enough. So we just have to be a little more consistent, but we have the pace, and I feel like that's what really you're always striving for, is to have pace to win races, and we have that. It's just we're not consistently putting the weekends together in terms of balance, really, and execution. Execution also, whether that's me hitting the wall in qualifying, puts us in a bad pit stall, we get boxed in a few times, we lose multiple spots, or the week before we had some issues on pit road and had a jack issue and lost several spots. So it's kind of all around execution, but luckily it's early in the season, and I feel like I'm fresh. I feel super fresh this year and ready to attack the summer stretch and just start to put some of that consistency together.
We're going to go in the back to Shane and then over here to the right to Pete.
Shane Connick, Charlotte Observer. Looking ahead to next week in North Wilkesboro, do you think it's important for the sport to always have an all-star race? And how much do you think that really always brings to the sport?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's super important. I think that it is a sense of pride as a race team to be in the all-star race. I think our all-star race is more important than other sports. We actually put, the same effort, same everything into it. We race the same, maybe even more aggressive. In other sports, you see them, they're doing flag football or they're not really playing defense in the NBA games. So I think for us, we actually take it seriously, and there's a lot on the line. It's a chance to learn, and you can't just take a week off. If you just approach the All-Star race like it's a week off, you're going to have some bummed out feelings after that race. So we want to win it, and obviously some money on the line as well. So that would be nice.
Appreciate it, William.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come over here to Pete.
Pete Iacobelli, Associated Press. William, you won at a lot of places, but does it feel any different? And you've had a lot of strong runs here at Darlington. Does it feel any different coming back as a winner at this place?
No, not at all. It's still a tough place. If anything, last fall would have felt that way, and we had a bit of a tough weekend leading up to the race, and so no, I mean, it just feels good coming here. I feel like I have pretty good history here, and I enjoy getting around this place, but I try not to read that much into it because the cars are different, the tire's different this week, so I'm just thinking about those factors. Mm-hmm.
Are there any final questions for William? We'll come down here for one last one with John.
John Newby, NBC Sports. So going back to Shane's question about the All-Star race, growing up a fan of the sport as you are there any All-Star races that you've watched that stick out in your memory of, hey, this was two guys really going for it hard, intense battles, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that the All-Star race had a really good stretch there at Charlotte. 2007 with Kyle and Kurt getting into it, and 2010, I believe, or 9 when they were 3 wide, for the lead. So there were quite a few good years there, and then it kind of doled out with the Gen 6. Just had a rough patch there where they were trying a lot of stuff, and it was really single file at the end. It was basically about who got the good launch on the restart would tend to go, but there's been kind of ebbs and flows of the All-Star race when the race has been good. So I would say those late 2007 to 2010 were some really good races, and I also remember the one with Jimmy and Kevin. I think Kevin won. I think that was 07. So yeah, there were some good ones.
All right, William, thanks for your time. Good luck this weekend.
Appreciate it.
right. There's the checkered flag. Great job, driver.